Tom Scott was a crew member of a Lufthansa flight in 1974 that crashed in Kenya, and he got 100 passengers out of the plane safely. Tom Scott is now a financial advisor in Irvine, California. And he's also the author of Fasten Your Financial Seatbelt, a book about the events that day and his present life as a financial planner. Take us back to 1974. What was your job? What happened?
Well, at that time I was a cabin attendant for Lufthansa, and it was a normal flight. We were going from Nairobi to Johannesburg. It was around 8 in the morning, and we had about 150 people on the plane. And everything seemed to be normal, except on takeoff I noticed, being a pilot myself, I had previously worked as a pilot for an American carrier, I had noticed on takeoff that there was something not right. The plane just wasn't getting that lift as we rotated. And I thought, boy, that's odd. And then all of a sudden I felt the plane start to jerk and shudder and you know, bounce around.
How high were you?
150, 200 feet off the ground. But moving along at about 230 miles an hour. So I thought, oh my God, this is it. You know, we're going down. We hit a hill as the pilots realized that there was something wrong and they weren't sure what to do. If you listen to the voice recorder, what they ended up doing was just pushing, you know, just pulling back on the throttles and just letting the plane pancake into the ground. And there was a field there, but there was a hill in the middle of this field, and the plane hit that hill, which basically broke it in half. At impact, you know, it was, I had my eyes closed because I was facing to the rear,
yeah.
and knowing that the attitude that the plane is in as it's coming down, nose is high, tail's low, I figured the people behind me are gonna get it before I do.
Right.
And I didn't want to watch. So I closed my eyes and I just wanted it to be over. I knew I was dead, but I just wanted it to be over, and I wanted it to be over fast. And I felt the first impact, which wasn't too hard, but then that first impact must have been when we hit the hill. And the second impact was when the rest of the plane hit the ground, and it was very hard. And the plane was just sliding, and I could feel the plane braking. And as soon as we came to a stop, I realized, heck, I'm alive. And not only am I alive, I'm not even injured.
Incredible.
So I look out the window, and the plane's an inferno. It's just on fire. As we were sliding, apparently the left wing had broken off and had spewed fuel all over the fuselage, and it immediately caught fire. The windows were starting to melt. So I thought, that's great. You know, I survived the crash, only to burn to death inside a airliner. So I was looking for a door where there was no fire. And I found one, and there was a stewardess trying to open it, and I just pushed her out of the way and opened it. Chute opened up, and there it was.
Walking towards you, and you kept just throwing them off, helping them off.
Well, I expected, you know, an onslaught of people to come, and nothing. I realized that they were in shock, you know. So I started screaming in German and in English, you know, get out, here, raus. And it was like a Japanese train, you know.
Right, it came at you all of a sudden.
It came all of a sudden. And then after everybody stopped coming, when people stopped coming, I went through the cabin to see what was left and helped a few people that had some trouble getting out.
So you were a flight attendant, though, or a cabin member for the next 8 years until you came were in California.
Correct.
You decided to become a financial advisor.
Correct.
Walk us into that. How'd you make that bridge?
I've always had interest in financial services, stocks. I've been an investor since I was a kid. My grandfather worked for the Federal Reserve, and so on and so forth. I think what really I felt the impact of the crash, or how that really affected me as far as a financial advisor is concerned, is, you know, we all have this belief that you know, certain things can happen to us.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting in an airplane, do you ever stop and think,
it's not me.
This is going to crash? I mean, you don't think it can happen to you. Well, in financial services, I think you find the same thing. People think, you know, you look at your Monte Carlo simulations and you see what the market's done and so on, and it recovers and all that stuff. You look at all the old empirical evidence in the charts, and you say, well, a real serious meltdown can't happen to me. But it can. You know, and the question is, are you prepared for it? Making, you know, sporadic moves based on emotion can be very devastating.
Which violates one of your rules that you operate by. Don't freak out your client. Keep them calm.
Keep them calm. That's right. Yeah, keep them calm. I also let them know, hey, I'm in this too. You know, I was in that plane with those people.
Right.
I'm in this market too. I'm an investor, I'm experiencing it too.
Do they get calm when you show them charts and explain about the 10% plus a year from stocks and all this stuff? Or what gets them through? What kind of hand-holding?
I think that the biggest thing is that we do planning with our clients. So we put together a roadmap to achieve their goals and objectives with their wealth.
Right.
And so getting them in and showing them, in spite of what's happened, how we plan to achieve those goals. You know, the numbers you have on your statement are simply numbers on a statement.
Right.
But what will they translate to in your real life? You know,
You
how
try to focus people on what's the
focus
money
on
going to do
what
for
are we
you,
going
why
to
you
do,
want it.
exactly. You know, so for each client, we on a regular basis get them in, find out what is that wealth supposed to do. I mean, it's not like, you know, he who dies with the biggest number on his statement wins. You know, it's like, what is that wealth supposed to accomplish?
So you map out what they need to
We
spend it
map
on.
out, right. And then if, you know, if it looks like we have to make some adjustments, then it's like, you know, well, let's see, was 2 cruises a year, is that more important than maybe a visit to the grandkids?
Do you get up in their face about spending?
Absolutely, absolutely.
When
Yeah.
you need to.
When I need to, yeah, absolutely.